If you're looking for a shortcut or a quick fix to be successful, to get the things that you want out of life, there's really only one solution. There's only one thing you actually need to do. It's hard, but if you're able to do it, it will completely change your life. I'm going to talk to you about how to achieve it today, and I'll give you a clue. It's just setting routines. But I'm also going to talk about what to do when you get off track, when you're trying to add to your routine or when you're trying to remove things. And I think these are the hiccups. We often get sick or get injured or have something come up that derails a good routine, and we end up in a bad place because of that. So first, I'm just going to talk about why routines are so important, how we establish them, and what you can do to start building yours today. Routines come from a series of tasks performed in a regular basis. So a perfect example of that is a morning routine. Probably heard about one. You might have your own, intentionally or unintentionally. My advice to you is to pick 3 things that you want to do for your morning routine and do them 7 days a week. That means you don't get to take Saturday and Sunday off. This is your morning routine every single day. And you're going to do this whether you wake up at 5 a.m. or 8 a.m. I actually don't think it matters that much the time you wake up, but what does matter is that you do the same things every day. The reason for this is you want to live and do the hard things, the things that are important to you, on autopilot. You don't want to have to make decisions about whether you want to do the hard, important things on a daily basis. You're the one who knows what those things are for you. For me, I meditate first thing every morning. I sit up in bed and I do at least 1 or 2 minutes, but often 10, 15 minutes of meditation. I then get up and I move. I usually go for a run or go lift weights or do something like that. And the third thing I do is shower. I found that for me, shower works like a cup of coffee. It doesn't work that way for everyone. Some people get sleepy from showering. Some people need the cup of coffee. But for me, showering does that. If I do those 3 things, I'm set. My day starts great, and I'm ready to take on whatever my frog is of that day, whatever the most challenging thing is for me to do. And for me right now, the main thing I do first is music. I'm really deep in music right now, so I always make sure that I dig into music first, every day. Doesn't matter what other things I have going on, I'll find a way to do it. And again, it doesn't have to be for 10 hours. I only need to do 5 minutes of music to get started. Sometimes I'm going to go have lunch with someone. Sometimes there's breakfast on a weekend, maybe I'm traveling, but I make sure that I do that. And on days when I don't have a lot of time, that morning routine can take me 10 minutes. I can do 1 minute of meditation. I can go outside and just walk around the building. I can do some jumping jacks if the weather's not good. I can just do something to move and then hop in a quick shower. And that series of steps gets me going. It gets me moving. Means I'm accomplishing things, but I don't have to think about it. And the reason that's important is that I've decided this is what's really important to me. Some of the most successful writers I know will wake up first thing and they go to their desk and they start writing before their brain even has time to turn on and tell them whether they should be writing or not. I don't think this is a bad idea. Some people do music that way. Whatever the thing is that's most important to you, and that could be sales calls. That could be spending time with your kids. Whatever the thing is, the area of life that you care the most about, create routines around that, okay? So we just talked about a morning routine and early in the day, but there's also routines for midday. There's how you transition from task to task. Do you sit down and work on something and then check your phone before you work on the next thing? Because if so, you're pulling yourself out of that workflow. Do you leave your phone in another room while you're at work? Do you have to have it on you because you have to take calls? When you're at work, are you reading or doing other productive things related to your job, or are you trying to avoid being there? It's all up to you, right? The key is to be intentional about the routines you want to create. So if it's sit down at your desk and do an important thing, first thing when you sit down to work in the morning, awesome. If it's when you get home, you spend time with your partner or your children first thing before you get into any TV or anything else, awesome. Just think about the areas of your life, your physical fitness, your career, your spirituality, your friends and family. Think about the rituals that you want to have with all of these people. One that I learned years ago that I still practice today is anytime I get a phone call or I'm calling someone, whether it's a friend or a family member, I think about the last time I remember a really fun, positive experience with them. And I imagine it in my mind. It seems a little weird, but it means that I'm smiling. And when I answer the phone to talk to them, I'm genuinely excited to have that conversation. Even if I'm fighting with that person, even if we're not in a good place, I still force myself to think about that positive space that I've been in with them in the past, and it changes the interaction. It makes me feel good to connect with them, and I believe it makes them feel good to connect with me too. Before I sit down to talk to you on this video, I pause in the chair for a little bit, I breathe, and I smile, and I think about how excited I am to get to share something. So for the next part of this, I want to talk about what it takes to build a habit and or break routines when you have things that derail you or you get off track. So sometimes for people that's like junk food, it's getting sick, it's all these different things. All it takes to build a habit is A, connecting it to another habit. James Clear calls this habit stacking, but it's really easy if you have habit A and then you do habit B. So wake up in the morning, do something. Sit down to your desk, do something. Brush your teeth, do something. Get ready for bed, do something. Connect things together when you're trying to add new habits in. Second is to make them really small. So whatever your routine is, it just matters that you do it. It doesn't matter how well you do it every single day. If I only meditated for 10 seconds every day, it might not be that beneficial for me, but it's still doing it every day. It's so much easier for me to increase from 10 seconds to 5 minutes than it is from 0 seconds to 10 seconds. That's the key. The key is to take a small incremental chunk of what you want to do and start doing it as soon as possible. For me, that could be recording a 15-second YouTube video, a short, whatever. The point is to do something, to get in front of the camera, to talk, to get the experience and practice of doing this and connecting. Doesn't mean that every video is perfect. It doesn't mean I do a great job every time. But the act of doing it and building that habit means that in the future, it's going to be that much easier for me to record a video, okay? That's the process of building your own routine. What's going to help you remove things when you get off track is what I call a routine analysis. And it's a little bit challenging at first, but after you've done it a couple times, it gets really easy. All you need to do is examine your thought process and your actions around the negative things you no longer want to do. Okay, let's use smoking for an example. If you tend to smoke after big meals or you tend to smoke when you're feeling stressed, notice first that you're feeling stressed. Notice that you have the urge to do the thing. Okay, notice that those two things are connected, right? Just like I was talking about building good habits, building good routines, you have things that connect together. The same thing happens for building bad routines. So the step one is to notice these connection points. If you're checking your phone too much and you're scrolling on Instagram, figure out what's causing that. If it's social discomfort, if you're bored at work, whatever the thing is, think about it. Like pause and actually take a minute to think about what it is when it's happening. And the next thing is what they call surfing the urge. There's a few different ways you can kind of overcome bad habits. I'm going to give you two that I think are really good. The first, as I said, is surfing the urge. And what that means is you sit with the feeling of discomfort. You sit with the desire to do the thing that you no longer want to do. And you accept it for right now. Doesn't mean you accept it forever, but you accept it for right now. Wait till it passes. Maybe it doesn't. If it comes back a second later, 5 seconds later, you might give in this time, that's okay. The point is to just start to practice this. It's to keep surfing, keep surfing, keep surfing. Eventually it gets easier and easier and easier. The second piece, the second habit, the second technique to really take these bad things out of this routine is what I like to call shock therapy. I also think about it like an ice bath. So the moment you get into an ice bath, you're shocked. Your nervous system is shocked, right? You can imagine someone getting shock therapy, right? That feeling jolts you out of whatever mindlessness you are in. So there have been times when I've been really unhappy with one habit in my life or one thing. And what I'll usually try to do is get out of town. That's the most extreme. If I take a vacation for 2 days, if I get out of town for a weekend, if I go with my partner somewhere, I am not able to do the habits in the same place that I was able to do everything before. And it's very easy for me to set something new up because I'm sleeping in a new space, I'm around different people, everything's different. It's kind of a blank canvas. So before I take this trip, I think to myself, these are the things that I want to change on this trip. I write it down and I'm intentional about it, okay? That's like the most extreme. The smallest way to do this shock therapy is to just go to a different space. So I used to try and do video stuff in my living room, but it was often messy. And just the act of needing to clean before I could film meant that I often didn't do it. I would have the urge and then I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna have to clean for 5 or 10 minutes. It's not quite clean enough to film for y'all. So I didn't do it. Now, I'm in my office space. It's not perfectly clean, but I always have the camera set up. It's ready to roll. And if I ever want to shoot, I just sit down in my chair where I'm going to be sitting to do work anyways. I talk to the camera. That is the smallest type of incremental change you can make. Change your location, okay? You can probably imagine some different ranges between changing your solitary location and going on a trip, but you can go to a coffee shop to build a new habit or break one. You can change where you eat. So if you feel like you overeat when you sit in front of the TV, go eat at a table or go sit on a deck or go sit outside in your backyard when you eat. Try moving and going to different places and doing different things to break the bad habits that you don't want, okay? It can also help you with building new habits, obviously, too. It's all connected. But again, the thing I want to just summarize for you is that in order to have the success that you want, you have to turn it into a routine that you no longer need to think about. It has to be completely subconscious. You don't get to make a choice, because if your logical brain makes a choice every day about whether you're going to do the things you want to do, you're not going to do them. None of us do. So you need to take your logical brain out of this, because your actions don't come from your logical brain. Your actions come from your body. They come from you taking motion, movement, doing, not from thinking. Sometimes thinking gets involved, but not until after you've started the doing. Good luck. Please let me know in the comments if this is helpful for you, what you learned today, and if you have any tips that work for you when you've been building your routines. And as always, if you have any other questions or things you'd like me to talk about, please let me know below. Thanks. Bye.